Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to start a video around the idea that there's an opportunity to access leaderboards and unlock DEC rewards for your time and attention that's maybe even, if not free, at least like it's a financial opportunity. Like those leaderboards are there for the grabbing, and it's maybe as accessible or more accessible than you might imagine, and as accessible as the rental market. And so this is an idea I've heard more than one person in our community espouse. It's a claim that they say they're taking advantage of and that they're earning more than they're putting out. And so I'm going, let's test that. Let me see. We've got about 2 days before the end of the season here. So I'm going to rent everything that I need to access the diamond, or rather the champion leaderboard in Splinterlands Wild. And we'll see. We'll see where that gets us. So this will be like a multi-clip video that I'll pull together over a 48-hour, sort of 36-hour, 2 or 3 day period, and we'll ultimately see if it proves true. I'll tell you now that within the rank experience in the Wild League, I make it to Champion 1 using Xbot and playing about 20 matches a day. 50, maybe. No, I let the computer play. I let the computer play 14 matches a day in Wild. And using just my regular cards that I don't rent for, or sometimes I rent Gold League level cards, I make it this high. So today, this is a special initiative where I'm going to rent the best of the best cards, track that financial outlay, and I'm going to compare it to any sort of leaderboard returns. Plus, there might be some other offsetting financial returns that we need to consider too. So that sounds interesting. Stick around. I'll tell you that I'm getting 5 SPS per win right now in Wild League. And frankly, I'm not certain that even if I get into the leaderboard, that makes sense to fight for next season. I really do think with my interest level and my excitement with fighting for Modern League, and I'm at Diamond 1 in Modern, where I get 15 SPS per win, and I don't need to play for the bot, and I think I can play all my games and stay on top of it because I'm enjoying the game so much. That's probably the more financially logical and beneficial path. But all things considered, I needed to test it. So we're getting 5 SPS per win. Some part of that goes to the bot because they take a cut for their technology. And what sort of cost do I need to put in? Like aside from the $17,000 worth of cards that I own, my personal card collection is about $17,000. Today I rented $11,000 or $12,000 worth of cards. Which cards did I rent? Well, first and foremost, I come into the rental market and I look under Wild and I go into Diamond because I want to see every card at their max level. I start with Summoners, and I went through and I rented every Summoner that is, in my opinion, powerful. You can see the little blue circle indicates that I have it. Do I want to re-rent it? Peak Rider, Delwyn Dragonscale, Selenia Sky, Prince Rin, Daria Dragonscale, Camilla Sungazer, Iris Palladium Portis, Malric, Lyanna, Ouster, Mimosa, Chancius, Lyre Deep Swimmer, Lorna, Alric, Archmage, actually I didn't get Bright and Bloom, Valnamore, Starred Llama, Mylor, Yoden, and Byzantine Kitty. Now the rental cost on each of these, it came out to about 2,000 DC for all these across 2 days worth of rents. Now that's dirt cheap. Here's the problem with this. This video goes through and it's a massive win, and I end up hitting the leaderboard and I get 20,000 DC for sort of the lower league levels of the leaderboard. And I only put out 5,000 to 8,000 DC. That's great. That's a huge win. Everyone should do it. The problem is almost no one can do it. Even if this does work for me, which I have pretty high hopes that it will. Here's the problem. It won't work for many of us. Probably 5 of us could do this from a cost perspective. But if you just come in to look at how many Yodens there are, or rather, let's look at Kitties, because like probably the best summoner of all time. How many? We got 6 at the highest league level. At the level 4 from Byzantine Kitty, there are literally 6, and I paid $282. It looks like per day, but as you can see, they've rapidly escalated in values up to 3,700 for the last per day. And so it's just literally not feasible for even 10 of us to do this approach to gaming. But I do want to explore whether it's possible. And when there are moments like this where others are sleeping on the game, where others aren't paying attention, where others aren't chasing those rewards, where they don't consider the opportunities to scratch and claw for a little more, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that advantage. Plus, like I alluded to earlier, there's some other benefits that are incidental and that will sort of be an icing on the cake for this approach, which we'll get into in a minute. But I spent about 2,000 or it might have been 2,500 DC on these summoners. Okay, so on the summoners, I spent 1,052 DEC per day. Times 2 days, 2,100 for the 2-day rental. Now, my monster cards, I spent 1,640 per day, and it's a 2-day rental. So 3,200, meaning 3,200 plus 2,100, 5,400 DEC spent. We'll see if I end up getting leaderboard status. Leaderboard status is a 20,000 DEC payout. I wouldn't expect to fight in this Vogtis like realm. That's just totally ridiculous. Got 8,700 RP. Even the top 20, ludicrous. But as you can see, as we get into the top 30, we start coming down to earth. Top 40, we're in the realm of conceivable. Top 50 is where you need to score that 20,000 DEC payout. And that's 4,800 RP. I have 4,300 and 500 is a big swing. We're going to need to put more in just in that DEC, and we'll explain that in a minute. But I think this might be attainable, and we'll find out together. So 5,300 DEC on rentals. I showed you what sort of summoners I acquired. I didn't show you the monsters. And then, you know, this is a bigger list, so I won't show everything. I'll just scroll more rapidly. But there's a ton of cards here that are like quite good that I don't necessarily, like I'm never going to buy the Fiendish Harpy. It's too much money. It's too old. The valuable promo card. There's some cards here also that I do own and that are currently occupying my land properties, meaning I have them and I don't necessarily need to rent them, but they're being used in another way. And so some amazing cards that, like Lightning Dragon, I actually have 2 copies of them. They're on land. Gold Dragon, I never owned it. Beetle Queen, I have it on, but it's on land. Bone Golem, good card. It's on my land. Electrical Eels, I never bought a level 8 of that card, but I rented one for practically nothing. These cards are all 3 to 4 to 5, maybe 10. This one's 10 DEC per day. The Ancient Lich. Kraken, 14 DEC. Lensmaster, 9.9 DEC. Some of these cards are ridiculous. And, you know, I literally just go down and click everything that I think is good and that I don't have. It's not a big, 20-minute conversation. It wasn't a 2-hour, investigation on what is the most profitable, most powerful cards. I didn't use Xbot data to see which cards are the best. There are ways you can do that, by the way. You can just empower Xbot to rent whatever cards they want and give them your active keys and whatnot. That's not what I did. This is more, I'm just going through and being like, knowing the game that I know, these are the cards that I want to rent. As you can see, I rented probably half. There's tons of cards I had to acquire today. Like the expensive ones are like 20 or 30 DC a day. The expensive one, which is to say these cards are dirt cheap. They're practically free. But again, like I pointed to with the summoners, the same is true with the monster cards. Cards like Spirit of the Forest, there's only 3 other copies of the max level Spirit of the Forest in the game available. So yes, I got one for 38 DEC, but the next ones are 93, 300, and 320 and 320. Or no, my bad. The next ones are 38 DEC a day, 51 DEC a day, and 67 DEC. So almost double what I paid. And there's only 3 copies, so if 4 people come along, they won't get them. And the same is true for all these amazing cards. Some of them have 11. Wow. Tons of liquidity, right? 10, 11 people can do it. It's clearly the case that this is not going to be available to everybody, but I'd like to see. And now earlier I pointed to the fact that there's the possibility of leaderboards, which is interesting and worthwhile. And I want to just test and see. That's worth trying this for, in my opinion. No one else is trying this. If you guys are all sleeping on those rental cards, if the rental card market is available for dirt cheap, if I can rent this best, like almost premier, every card in the game for 5,000 DEC, which is $4, I'm happy to do that for 2 days. Just to see if I can get 20,000 DEC. That would be amazing. I'll do that every season if you guys will let me. But here's the icing on the cake. With the planning of the end of season being 1 day and 14 hours away, and also me being in a guild where I get SPS, merits, etc., I can coordinate it in such a way where those rentals are going to be double dipped. They're going to be utilized in both realms. And so I can actually come in and fill a fray that is sometimes hard for me to fill. Grab the alpha, beta, untamed diamond fray. I usually fill the gold fray, and I do quite well in that in tier 5. So this is a high level of guild participation. My team we're very successful, played a high level. If you guys are curious about getting involved in a guild, go ahead and look in the Discord and let us know who you are. But because those rentals are so amazing, and because they fit into this fray, not all of them, but many of them, alpha, beta, untamed, I can probably kick butt in this diamond fray, and I'm spending 5,000 DEC already on my desire to seek after a leaderboard. Why not create a second benefit to myself and my team by saying to my teammates, hey, I've got the diamond for this time. Don't worry, I should have the equipment to crush. I'm hoping I can, put my money where my mouth is, and on my talent will shine, and time will tell. But the point is, I'm double dipping. And not only am I taking a responsibility that one of my teammates would have to take if I didn't take it, meaning they would probably have to rent, but also I might unlock, I will unlock a certain amount of SPS return for participation in this guild brawl, a certain amount of merit rewards for participating in this guild brawl. I would do that even if I filled a smaller fray. But it's just interesting to think through, if I'm able to level up because of these rentals, seeking after leaderboard rewards, and simultaneously take up a big, expensive spot in the guild brawls, thus benefiting my team and opening up maybe a lower fray for someone else. All of that is good. It's icing. It's, good on top of good. Win-win. And so my reward isn't just potential leaderboard. It's also SPS that wouldn't have been possible because maybe the diamond fray didn't get filled because no one had the money for that, etc. So two paths to victory. And then, you could go further with that, right? You could find which tournaments are coming up anytime in the next 24 hours. Okay. This is, a day away, or no, it's several hours. It's like 12 hours away or something like that. Diamond League, gold, alpha, beta, untamed. I could find one here, I'm sure. Well, even these ones that are modern, wild, diamond, 800 DC. Go ahead and enter it. I don't know if I'll do well in that, but for 800 DC, I start doubling down on on this plan that I've made within Splinterlands. Add to calendar. So this is going to take 2 or 3 days to figure it out and see where we land. But it's possible that this might work for me, and I wanted to share it with you. It's also possible that people who are curious about this, or maybe even just getting started with Splinterlands, aren't necessarily aware of maybe a rental market, or the accessibility of the rental market, or the functionality and the potential for ROI if you're accessing the game from that perspective. All those reasons led me to creating this video, and I'll have to just add in the extras later as we find them. How do I do in this tournament? How do I do in those guild brawl battles? What sort of returns do each of them provide? As well as, did we make that leaderboard? Finally, before we move away and just kind of cut into the future and see what the results were, I need to point to the fact that one of the ways to double down on this approach would be to buy energy. And so it cost me 500 DEC per energy since I'm a champion player. That doesn't seem like a really wise investment. Now, if it leads me to get into that leaderboard, it might well be. If I spent 6,000 DC on those cards, I have 14,000 DC that I could spend on energy in order to strive to break even. And it wouldn't be just break even, because remember, it would be paying for rentals that benefited me in Guild Brawl battle, maybe benefited me in a tournament, and also that earned me SPS on those rank battles that were earned through energy purchase. And so it would be a net benefit, net plus, net positive, even if I spent all that DC. However, I don't want to do that. I think there's a better way, and I want to discuss that. I might well buy some DC. I might well buy some energy using DC. But I think the thing to think about, if this is all on your radar, if you're trying to squeeze the most out of every penny, is not to buy the energy, but rather to come in and be cognizant of your plan to do this next season. And you would prepare by probably not buying your reward cards until the end of season. So in this moment, with 1 day and 15 hours left, I could have saved my glint shop purchase till this moment in time. And what would happen? Well, when you buy loot chests, you actually unlock energy. And those energy are extra wins. Those energy are extra RP. Those energy are a greater likelihood of reaching that higher threshold. So again, if it's not just one benefit, but 5, you start to get interested. Like, you might like loot chests. I like them. I buy them every season. But I like them even more if it's going to drop big energy payouts that then increase the functionality of a rental that I just made. I just spent 6,000 on rentals, DC. I can increase their effectiveness and their reach, extracting the most amount of SPS, all if I really thought through my loot chest purchases and left them to this moment. Here's the problem for me. I already bought all my loot chests at the beginning of the season. I primarily like these major chests, and I'm tempted even to buy a batch number 3, because that's still maybe worth it. If I went like that, we're talking 337,000 glint. I only have right now 335, so I'm just like 3,000 glint shy of that. But I never bought any ultimate chests. So I can and will do this. I'm going to buy 30 ultimate chests right now. We'll open them and then we'll wrap. 30 ultimate chests. These are going to give me some amount of energy. I want the cards also. I want legendaries that are made possible through this. I want possible huge prizes. There's 5 energy. There's 2,600 merits. There's another 3 energy. These energy matter to me for the reasons I just explained and the impact that I just alluded to. And those cards matter to me. And those potions matter to me. And those merits matter to me for reasons I've explained previously on the channel. So this is a bit of like how I'm trying to bring all these different angles together to get the most of this reward and for this rental. So picking up where we left off yesterday, we bought those reward chests. We earned 32 extra energy. In so doing, we played 41 matches yesterday. At least the bot did, in Wild. And the bot was able to climb from roughly 4,300 to 4,520. And so if we imagine that 40 energy is required in order for my account with these cards to extract roughly 200 RP gain, then we need to have, if my opponents on the leaderboard are currently at the 4,900 range, I'm 400 RP out. And that's 80 battles out. 80 battles is far more energy than I'm going to acquire or access by just letting the game play my natural energy. I'm not going to make it unless I have angles to multiply that energy. I didn't talk about it yesterday, but you can buy energy with glint. I don't want to do that. I'd rather buy I might do that, but I don't want to do that. You got to think through all the things you can do, even if all the possibilities, even if some of them are not optimal. Like, do I want to buy glint? Maybe. It's going to depend on how my natural energies levels, and maybe if I buy some more chests, what those do. Like, I've got certain ideas about what I would want to do. I don't want to buy energy. I would prefer to buy chests in order to access energy. I may do that again today in order to see where that puts me from an energy perspective. And then after that, consider my problem, because that might give me some of the energy I want. If I need 80 more energy and I get 30 from buying some more chests, now I'm closer to my intended goal, my desired goal. And it changes the parameters and the calculations. So what I'm saying first and foremost is that it looks like it's going to be hard to make it there. I don't know that we're going to be able to do it this season. And there's preparation that would help you succeed in this if you're going to try. One of the pieces of preparation is clearly saving your energy until this push for the race. Now, I don't mean saving energy like not playing any battles, but it would have been smart, 24 hours before I rented those cards to not play any games, right? I would have had 24 more energy. We would have rated 50 energy. We would have accessed those rentals and fired them up right then and there. And you can see how I wouldn't even lose a game played because I'm not sitting on energy beyond 50. I'm just getting it to 50. And in that way, I would have had slightly more energy, slightly more games played, slightly more RP, because that's literally how what it's going to come down to. Amount of games played with these cards. And finally, not buying those reward cards at the beginning or chests at the beginning of the season, because clearly, actually you won't know this, but at the beginning of last season, when I bought those reward chests, as I do every season, I bought, loot minors and major chests. I bought 2 batches of major, I bought 1 batch of minor. At the end of that day, I had 75 energy, which is to say that, if I had done that right now, to enjoy these rewards right now, to record that video right now, and all the same realities happen. I get content from my channel, I get cards that I want, but I get energy in the moment that it's the most useful, the most functional, the most necessary for me to reach the goal that I'm trying to set for myself, leaderboard. And so if you're serious about this, you either probably need to be willing to buy some energy, whether it's through DC, through Glint, or however else, or maybe accessing loot chests at the end of the season to just get that coincidental benefit. Finally, so the energy question is gonna come down to it. I do still have, I'm going to reiterate, I only spent 6,000 DC on my cards. If I presume I'm going to make leaderboard, I can allow myself another 14,000 DC to buy energy. That would be 28 extra energy that I could do with the energy system. And so I don't think that's great, because I don't, you're spending money you don't have, and maybe that works out and maybe it doesn't. But it's on the radar of considerations. Now, we have to remember, even if we don't make the leaderboard, it's not just about that. It's about the guild brawls. It's about the tournament play. And I confirmed for myself that this tournament, which I entered yesterday, and by the way, I could come through and see if there are any others too. Maybe I should, to be honest. But this happens at 2:30 a.m. on October 31st. So that should be roughly 19 hours from now, within the range of my rentals. Are there any other? Many of these games won't fit within my rental end date. And so, at least for now, for this tournament, for this moment, that's the one. But this is how you could really stretch your rental value. If you thought this through, planned it, executed it exactly right. I didn't have to rent my cards when I rented them. What if I had waited 12 more hours? Maybe that would have given me a two-day window of rental that accessed another tournament, or that helped me in a bigger way right to the finish line of the end of season. I don't know. There's so many variables, and that's part of the game within the game too. If you find this fun, then you're going to succeed in Splinterlands, because what you're going to be doing is not just playing a non-fungible token, auto battler collectible card game, but rather you're going to be playing a collectible card game where there's a game within the game, navigating your resources, like your DC, your glint, your energy, your SPS, your card management, effectively utilizing rentals in the most powerful way by thinking through angles of how you can access them into different value propositions, tournaments, rank play, guild brawls. And so there's a fullness to what I'm trying to do that I'm not getting right in this moment, but that I think I could get right next season. And hopefully this video will be helpful in that for you as you think through whether this makes sense for you to try next season. So this is one of the matches that XBot is waging for me right this second. And I just thought it'd be fun to check in and watch what we see as we see it, because two things are going to happening. One, there might be fun analysis of high level champion performance within leaderboard fight, even within Splinterlands on the Wild League. But also two, I can comment on my ongoing effort to attain leaderboard bonuses through rental acquisitions, because that's what I did. I rented a lot of assets. This is me on the bottom. I own that summoner. All of these cards I actually own. I'm concerned about the thorns. As we pause, I see everybody can attack from sneak. only 5 spots. The thorns damage is obviously a problem. He's got amplify over here, which is another problem. He has Mantaroth, which I don't have, which is a problem. I don't see how we could possibly win this. Even the force field's a problem. Sneak attack though. Is there any way we can win this? Where did the True Strike go? The True Strike is on the dry bone, which makes sense, as well as the Mycelic, which makes sense. I don't think we win this, but I don't give myself a 0% chance. The repair is significant. The double strike over here is significant. The shield on the Mycelic infantry is significant, but look at that. We're almost dead. The Mycelic infantry is dead now. The retaliate, or the attack, just scratching the surface with the armor. It's not good enough. The cripple matters, but I don't think it matters enough. Yeah, he's very seriously wounded, but triage there, right there, significant triage. Where did he put this? Where did he put no retaliate, by the way? Did I get a retaliate? I don't think I did. Where is the... Oh, the scavenge and the triage on the Archimus. Yeah, I mean, that's a big kill, but he still has a major tank and he has all the thorns damage. No, there's no way we come out of this one. Even the bear with the scavenge is terrifying, hey? Yeah, we're hooped. Off to a bad start. I've seen 2 matches since I tried this, and the bot has lost both. I'm currently at 4,500 RP. I have nearly every card because I either own them or I rented them. Rentals were relatively inexpensive. I spent about 6,000 DEC. I spent 6,000 DEC, which is like $450 US. And I acquired 13 to 15,000 US dollars worth of cards, assets. But I don't know if it's enough. As great as those cards are, I don't know if it's enough to push me into the leaderboard at where I want to end up. Even the low end of leaderboard pays 20,000 DEC. That'd be cool. Jotun versus Lux. Blast damage. He's got the Mantaroth. That's one card I didn't rent. And honestly, that might be a meaningful impediment to my leaderboard attainment or my goals. Yeah, what's a Mantaroth cost? Probably 500 DEC a day, 400 DEC a day. Oof, that blast, that True Strike, the whole kit, hey? Such a crazy card. No, there's no way we get out of this one. We haven't even scratched the surface on the... We haven't done anything to him yet. 3 down, but... The heavy hitter is still alive and well. Oof, and... Yay. No, we're toast. Oof, are you... Okay, we lost like 6 in a row. We've lost approximately 4 or 5 matches in a row. Hey guys, we're back and we're continuing this conversation around whether or not it's possible to rent cards within the wild format to access leaderboard, as well as to incidental benefits like tournaments and guild brawl victories that would maybe pay for it. But I actually think there is a pathway to that, and this is me testing it. Okay, so I actually know what happened at the end of the leaderboard, or at the end of the season. The season is over. I did not make the leaderboard, meaning I didn't achieve the 20,000 points, DEC rather. And I ended up spending about 8,000 on rentals, not 6,000. So you might say I'm in the hole on that, but I think I could optimize it moving forward. That's neither here nor there. Will these rentals pay off in other ways? Let's find out with this tournament that I entered, and there was 164 participants. Ooh, okay. Yesterday I started off with the 3-2, 3 victories, 2 losses. So this is my first tuning in and seeing a 6-5. I didn't make it to this round. Okay, so check it out. Okay, so in the first round I went 6-5. That was using the rentals that I acquired, that 6,000, 8,000 DEC that we talked about. And again, those were purchased or borrowed with the sole purpose and intent of driving success on the leaderboard. I failed. I finished 4,400, 4,900, or 5,000 was like the threshold. I think I not only need more cards probably some Rebellion cards that I was ignoring, or some promo cards I was ignoring. But I also probably need more energy. That's going to cost more than 10,000 DEC, I bet. I bet I'd probably have to spend close to 20,000 DEC on all of the things to make that really happen. The victory at the leaderboard. But then you could break even, and you would have these instant and benefits. That's the point. Because look, there is benefits. I finished 71st. I didn't progress into round 2, which is unfortunate because this one pays a lot. But look what I did. Look what did happen. I finished 71st. And so I'm going to finish in this range, 201 SPS, 201.6 SPS. And now this tournament costs 800 DEC to enter. So again, that adds to the calculations and everything. But as you can clearly see, that's worth it, right? 201.6 SPS. We times that by the US dollar value of 0.0089. At least it was yesterday. Where's SPS right now? SPS is 8649. 8649. So that's the US dollar value per SPS. We got $1.74 in SPS, and DEC currently is 830. Then we divide by 000830. That's the price of a DEC. So we achieved essentially a DEC valuation of 2100 from participation in this guild brawl, which is possible because of cards we rented so this is an incidental benefit from those rentals. And so I think if that's the approach that one would take, you can make this make sense. And clearly other people do. If I was to show you the leaderboard as a kind of final reminder, the last season leaderboard payout ended at 5,020. And so I'm pretty convinced these people rent all the cards, giving the bot every possible calculation and consideration. If there are certain key cards I didn't have, like Moxiel Revel at max level, meaning I don't have that weapon trained to level 2 magic, I'm going to suffer versus those who do. And it's those little edges that move from high champion player, which, 4,400, 4,500, which is where I played, respectable, but not in contention. And so, plus I think there's energy calculation, and whether or not these people buy energy, or maybe what they do is just wait till the end of the season and buy loot chests to earn energy. I can confirm that yesterday in my end of season chest opening, I received 72 energy. If you did the timing of that in such a way where in the last 24 hours you got 70 plus energy, that's going to transform your access to leaderboard, especially if you have the right rentals. And so that's what I'm thinking ultimately makes sense. Plus, and we'll finish here, this will be the end of the video, it isn't just leaderboard, it isn't just the tournaments that you might enter, and theoretically there could be more tournaments. I only entered one, but there could be more. It's also my guild brawls. And so there were guild brawls that happened at the exact same time. There's 13 hours left in combat. That's too bad. I wish I could give you a final result. But you can see that I went of the matches I've seen so far, I've gone 3 and 2. And so that's a strong, so far at least, that's a strong performance that would not have been made possible, or would have not been possible if I didn't have those. And so I think there's a path here to accessing value for yourself, but it's going to require not just, right? It's the time and attention thing that we talk about so often. I had to spend time on understanding what are the pros, like analyzing the pros and cons of this process, and then analyzing what is necessary to achieve the ultimate desire. I tried renting what I thought was the best cards, but frankly, I think you need to have all the cards. I tried playing great cards as much as I wanted, even buying a little extra energy, because I did with some loot chests at the end of the season that I bought during last season. It wasn't enough. Maybe I need to buy all my loot chests at the end of the season, giving not just 20 extra energy, but like 100 extra energy. And so I think there's ways to make this work in a more, to increase your probability of success. And it doesn't just have to be from an access point of, solely for the 20,000 DEC on the leaderboard. Clearly that's not enough incentive. But when you start taking the time and effort to identify which possible incentives exist, guild brawl merits and the gladiators that follow, tournament success, and the SPS that comes with it. I didn't even mention guild brawl SPS. And then finally, yes, of course, that hopefully that elusive finish line at the leaderboard. think the picture comes together in a way where you can clearly see substantial return possible, right? Because I could break even on cost outlays, except for time, because I have to put in time to figure out which rentals are necessary. I got to, optimize my energy levels and maybe access, there's strategy and attention that's necessary in that process. Plus the tournaments are all personalized and I'm playing them. And if I had success there, I would have not had some of those cards in the second round. So that would have been interesting too. I might have had to rethink whether I rent again. There's just lots of planning, lots of analysis, and much thought that's necessary to achieve these successes. But if I had unlocked that leaderboard, I think clearly we would have seen substantial success. And I should say, to give one final thought on the outlays versus returns from my effort here, I spent 8,000 DC on rentals, and I spent 150,000 glint on chests at the end of the season that I would have spent this season. And they were level 1 chests, so I didn't pay any penalty on them. And so that was probably good that I did anyways. And so really the only cost is that 8,000 DC. Oh, and 800 from the tournament. And in return, I got 2,100 DC from the tournament, or 200 SPS, which I'm happy to have, and some amount of Guild Brawl merits and SPS. And from my past experience, last Brawl, I received 6,300 merits. That was on October 27th, and the previous 7,000 gives you a sense of where my merits will probably conclude. And I would I expect some amount of SPS to flow from that as well. All that said, I know for a fact I didn't earn back the 8,000 DEC, the 9,000 DEC that I put out, but I learned something about how I might do the same thing this season if I was inclined to, and access that leaderboard. I really think it's possible. And if one was to be better than me, because I think I'm a mediocre player, maybe that would radically transform both what would happen in the leaderboard, but simultaneously in the guild brawls. And so I think there's a path here, and I can't exactly say I found it. I just feel I'm seeing it like vaguely. It's I think with between 10 to 15,000 DEC in rentals, there would be a pathway where you would actually see profitability from the leaderboard. You would probably you would access it and you would see that profit. Then there's tournament success and guild brawls that would add to make it worth the time. If you think the game is fun, if you think the rewards are meaningful, that would be something to consider. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the video. Awesome. Have an awesome day. God bless. Bye for now.